Hello and welcome to another interesting episode. I'm Julie for Nature Grass TV. In this mini-series, Gardening in Drought, I'm going to share my tips and tricks of using containers in the garden to conserve water. So, let's get in. I'm reusing these 10-liter containers in my garden that we used to buy cooking oil. So I've cut them into different shapes for various reasons. I will start with this. The first method is to cut across the container just at the top and to get two different containers. For the first container, I'm using it for plants that I will need to transplant elsewhere because they cannot grow here up to maturity. This is my avocado seedling. I started it from seed, and the leaves are covering the surface of the container. But the crop will not grow to maturity in this pot. I'll have to transplant it to a different position. So this second method is just to cut the top of the container here and fill it with soil, not to the brim, but at a certain level. So for this method, I'm using it for plants that will grow in this container up from planting to maturity. For example, I will plant corn in this type of container that needs more space. This container is more than 30 centimeters, which is sufficient to grow corn up to maturity. From this container that I've planted my avocado seedling, I have another container. For this type of container, I'm using it for seedlings that I will need to transplant to a bigger pot and let them grow. For example, you can start zucchini seedlings in such a container and then transfer them to a bigger pot and let them grow bigger before you transplant them in the garden. Here, if you're gardening in drought and you transplant the seedlings when they are too small or too young, you will lose the crop because of the very high heat and water stress. This is an example of a container that you can use to start your seedlings. These are my capsicum seedlings, and I will let them grow here until they are more than 15 centimeters before I can transplant them. Because if I transplant them at this stage, they may not survive the high heat level and the water stress. Here I have a hollow container. I've cut the top and the bottom of the container, and it's very useful in the garden. These are my lovely zucchini plants that I've planted them in a different type of container style. This one, where I've not removed any piece of the container, but I've only opened up the container on the side and filled it with soil, but not to the brim. You leave space for watering where you'll come and water and let the water seep in slowly into the roots. So this type of container helps to conserve water because it remains covered all through the day. From morning to evening, it remains covered. And all I have to do is to just lift it or place a stone and add water on the side. So the main soil surface here remains covered. Here the surface is covered by the leaves partially, and here the container covers the soil surface, so I'm reducing water. I reduce water loss by evaporation. Woo! It is hot. So to read more articles and to enjoy more photos and videos, go to juliesnaturejunction.com and on Facebook and Instagram, Julie Nature Grass TV. When you plant celery and you want to do blanching, this container is useful. You come and put it around your celery plants. Here I've planted watermelon in a sunken bed. It's like a huge underground container. You can see the sheet on the side here. The second use of this hollow container is to come and put it around your plants, because if the plant has wide leaves, this container will hold the leaves together, and you can spread your baking soda around the plant and the baking soda will not touch the leaves. Spreading baking soda around the plants will prevent pests like ants getting to the plant and chewing the lower parts of the plant, making it weak. So you put some baking soda like this, and you can spread it around the plant, and it will not get to the leaves. See?